Hey guys, got a little tutorial for you. Yeah, so what I thought I'd do is, while I've got some space, is create a few tutorials, editing tutorials, post-production to start with, which I've been promising for a whole bunch of time and I've not done yet. So here we go. First tutorial, retouching skin in Photoshop. Now you can retouch skin in Lightroom, right? And for sure, if I'm editing like 450, 500 images from a wedding, then I'm not really gonna be going into Photoshop too much. I may take 20, 25 images from there. I edit pretty fast into Photoshop. Other than that, I do it in Lightroom. What I do tend to do though, images that I consider to be like portfolio shots, then I do bring them into Photoshop, guys, for a little bit of a little bit more juice. For me, Lightroom still can't hit home runs with regards to retouching skin. You can do it with the brush tools, I understand that, but for me, all they're doing really is just dipping the clarity. Guys, I'm happy for you to prove me wrong. Link me to some knowledge in the messages below, and absolutely. Also, guys, please subscribe to the channel, hit your notifications as well, really supports me. Give the video a thumbs up, and there's a lot more of these to come, I promise you. Just crack on. Photoshop. So what we'll do first, now I've got an image here, and this is Justine. Shot this a few weeks ago in town, and beautiful skin and skin, right? So a few little blemishes. I've already applied my own preset to this, okay? I'm gonna create a few tutorials for you guys in Lightroom coming up, talking about my presets, also how to create presets, that kind of a thing. And this is, all we're dealing with here today in Photoshop is retouching. So I've already applied a preset, and it's literally just a click, really. There's nothing else going on. I think I brightened her face a little bit with the exposure. First of all, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go over to the left-hand side, the toolbar. Now the toolbar, okay, and we're gonna use the healing tool, okay? And then, we don't want this circle too big. Okay, see the circle here? We don't want it too big because it starts to reveal itself, the outline starts to reveal itself with the effect on the skin tone. Now what we're gonna do, bring that down a little bit, and we're just gonna take care of the more obvious blemishes, okay, before we get to the retouching. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna sample a smooth part of the skin, and literally all we do, you use Alt on the Mac, okay, so you have to figure it out for PC. Alt, click on with your mouse to sample a smooth part of the skin, and then you just start clicking out the more obvious blemishes, okay? Then I think we're ready to go. Okay, so what we're gonna do next, we're gonna create a duplicate layer. So to do this, we're gonna hit, I remember I'm on the Mac, Command, Alt, Shift, and N. Right, and then Command, Alt, Shift, E. Okay? Now the reason I do that is sometimes when we're editing and images, we'll be making a whole bunch of changes, and then we get 7 or 8 steps down the line and we're like, damn, I wish I hadn't made that change earlier. Like what we can do then is we can step down layers, yeah? And we can basically delete or kind of change the edits, change part of the edit that we made earlier. And any layer that you create, the subsequent layers that you create will take on all the edits that you've done up until the point of that new layer. Does that make sense, guys? So basically, on the 6th layer, we'll take into account all of the edits you made on layer 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, etc. And then you can just drop down, yeah, if need be, okay? In actual fact, we need 2 duplicate layers for this. So again, Command, Alt, Shift, N, Command, Alt, Shift, E, okay? Now, what we're gonna do, let's rename the top layer Airbrush, and the second layer, we'll call that Blur. I'm gonna show you why we're doing that in a sec. And then what we do, the top layer, Airbrush, we're gonna turn that off, okay? So you have the little eye icon next to it. You turn that off, and then we're gonna drop down onto the blur layer, and then we're gonna go up to the menu bar at the top of the screen, filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and we're gonna blur that at around about, well, it's pretty much a 4.0, okay? Then what we're gonna do, we're gonna go back up to the top layer, switch it on again, okay? And then we are going to apply a layer mask underneath the layer panel, yeah? We're going to apply a layer mask to the airbrush layer. Then we're going to come over to the left and we're going to click on the brush tool. What we're also going to do, we're going to make sure the hierarchy of the foreground, background color is thus, right? It is, we want. So if you click on the two little squares above the bigger squares, that's going to default so that the white is the foreground, the black is the background, okay? What we want to do for the purpose of retouching is we want to, with the little arrows to the right here, we want to flick those so that the black's at the top. Okay, we've already selected our brush tool. Make sure that the brush is feathered, okay? So you want the size is, well, size is relative, but the hardness you want at 0, okay? So that the brush is feathered. And then we're going to start brushing over the skin. Can you see that, guys? What we've got here is that kind of really intense Vogue kind of retouching, yeah? But I'm going to show you how we can dial that down at the end, or dial it up. Depending on the image, depending on your preference. So we're brushing. Be careful not to take out the lips. If you do go over the lips, yeah, or the eyes, boink, what you can do, you come back over to your toolbar on the bottom left and you reverse the hierarchy of the foreground, background. So the white's now at the top, brush back over it, yeah? And it'll bring it back. Can you see that, guys? Let's keep brushing. So we're going to reverse that back. So black's at the top. And like I said, what we can do at the end is make the brush bigger. We can fool around with the opacity of the layer to increase or decrease the retouching effect, yeah? I think that's pretty much it. Let's deal with. Guys, what I like to do as well with my images, I like to have a grain on my images. It just creates a really nice, kind of almost like a fine art texture to the finished image. And especially if you're retouching, but I do that in another software. We're going to get to that in later tutorials. I mean, this will be fine, as it is just over above her eyes, between her eyes and her brows there. Okay. Right, so this is skin. If we drop down to the blur layer and we switch it off, you can see before and after. Before, after. Zoom in on the skin. Before, after, yeah? Now, that's very intense, that retouching. So what we're gonna do, still on the blur layer, we're gonna drop the opacity of the layer to around about 52. So before, after, before, after. So it's a little more, it's like we're keeping it real here, yeah? And it's up to you guys, flavor it however you want. If you want to go super Vogue, then push that opacity higher. And that is pretty much it, guys. So what you do then, Control, Alt, and E this time, flatten all of the layers, or you can just go up to Layer, Flatten Image, and then just save the image down. Job done. Thanks, guys. Please subscribe, like I said. Give the video a thumbs up, guys. Maybe leave a little comment. Anything you want me to cover in these upcoming tutorials, leave a little comment below. I promise I'll get to it, guys. I will do. So take care. Stay safe, guys, and look after yourselves.